Shalom, shalom, shalom. Yes, Shalom world. I'm Brother Ezekiel,
Brother Chris.
and we're back at it for a new lesson and everything. So, wanted to say I apologize for the long wait. We were teaching some of the brothers here in Milwaukee all the laws, statutes, and commandments so we could get them up to speed and get that all taken care of. So it took a couple weeks. So I do apologize for that, but we're back on it and everything. And today we're starting a new lesson. The title is going to be called "The Principles of Teaching the Word." Okay, like I was saying, throughout all the lessons, basically, we need to know the laws. We need to know Torah, because I'm just going to start saying that from now on, just Torah, because that covers law, statute, and commandments, all that stuff in one. Um, Christ was walking it, he was talking it, he was living it, and he showed us how to do it while he was in the flesh, on this earth, so we could do the same thing. So there should be no excuses. And basically why I'm getting on this lesson is for individuals out there, because we have too many doctrines out there, man-made titles. Everybody is trying to get fame and things, and they figure if they get out here and start teaching a word and make it sound really good and add all these other books to it and things, that they must have the truth. And the problem is they're not knowing the consequences for trying to put out the word and teach it according to what the actual word says in a specific order. You can't be out here teaching unless you know the Torah thoroughly and you applied it to yourself first, because you have to take out all plaques and planks and woods and things out of your own eye, and meaning you got to clean yourself before you can get out here and start cleaning up others. So this is where we're getting at with teaching, why I'm saying there's principles. So what we're going to start with today is the warnings. I'm going to give all the warnings, well, majority of them, not all of them, but majority of them, of why it's important to know these things before you try going out here teaching anybody anything. Because if you get out here and you're doing these things, you're not knowing that you're setting stumbling blocks and causing everybody to sin, because you're still blind. Okay, you're still a child, and that's in the wisdom and the knowledge and understanding of the Most High's word. Okay, so we're going to get into it today. We're going to start at the book of John, and I know I used some of these scriptures back in my old, some of the old lessons, but definitely this is a different lesson, and where I'm starting at is with the Mashiach. So we're going to start in John 5, chapter 5, and verse 45. And before we go there real quick, I advise, thanks to Elder Silas out there in Cali, in LA, I do ask you, brothers and sisters out there, even Old Testament, you guys really need this. And this is the 5th volume, okay? And you really need to get this book, because this is the translations before the Greek and the Latin, the Vulgate, was even got their hands on this, okay? Because you had the 4 translations before it hit the actual English. You had the Hebrew, the Aramaic, the Greek, then the Vulgate, which is the Latin, and then the English. So there's a lot of stuff, and it gives the literature of what they had put in the book, okay? When they put it in and who put it in. Now, commentary parts in the back there I don't agree with, because this is just not, it's from a Gentile mindset, okay? But the translations, everything is on point, okay? So I haven't gotten all the way through this just yet, because I've been too busy, coming up with some other things and stuff. So anyway, just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But let's go ahead and start in John chapter 5 and verse 45.
John the 5th chapter, verse 45 says, "Do not think that I will accuse you to the Father. There is one that accuses you, even Moses, in whom ye trust. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words?"
So Hamashiach said, there's going to be one that accuses you, okay? He specifically said Moses. This is some knowledge that Christ had, that he was speaking on. When that time of judgment comes, there's one that's going to accuse you. That's Moshe. So with that being said, you're going to be held accountable for what you're saying according to the word. But once again, he's telling you, if you don't believe in Moses' writings, how then can you believe in my words when he wrote of me? So he's letting you know that you need to listen and go back and read for yourself the Torah. You got to know this. So you can be over the Torah, not under it, not under the law, because you're bounding yourself to the laws, which means every time you transgress the law, you put yourself in a curse. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you put yourself back in bondage under the law. The law is supposed to be the schoolmaster that keeps you away from getting in bondage, okay? So this is what Christ is trying to show you, and this is what's going on with the people today. They're not knowing the laws. They're not knowing the Torah, okay? So when that time of judgment comes, you got to give accountability of what you said and what you didn't say and what you did and what you didn't do yourself. So all these scriptures we're bringing out, these are all the warning signs about before you go out there and try to teach anybody the Most High's word, okay? You got to be skillful swinging the sword and things. If you can't, it takes practice. It takes muscle memory when you're trying to pick up a sword. If you actually picked up a sword and tried swinging it, it's not an easy thing to do. And, you see you're watching movies and you're going like this and stuff. Nah, all this in here, you have to train this. Your wrist, the movements, all this and that and the other, you have to train it. So it's the same exact thing with the Most High's word. You got to train this. Because once you train this, all these other things come to you and things, blessings and everything, because now you're walking and you're talking it. Okay? Mm-hmm. But let's go to Romans chapter 14 and verse 11 through 13. Elder, please.
Romans, the 14th chapter and verse 11. And it says, "For it is written, as I live, says the Most High, every knee shall bow to me, and every tongue shall confess to the Father."
So every knee's going to bow to him, and every tongue shall confess. Confess what? Everything that you did yourself. So you can't lie. You can't say, well, he ain't going to know. Yo, you got to confess everything. Okay? So that's what we're saying. You're going to be held accountable. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 12. "So then every one of us shall give account of himself to the Most High."
No, you should give account on my behalf.
Everybody should give account for himself.
Everybody's going to give account for itself. Not nobody else. Nobody can plead your case. Nothing. Yourself. Okay? This ain't, oh, we all one together and stuff, but he told me this and this is what. Nah. Nope. What did the word say? He gave you the comforter right here in your hands. But you refuse to pick it up and read it. You refuse to get the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding. You refuse it. So you going out here teaching because you're trying to get likes on and followers on Little Demon Book and YouTube and stuff. You trying to get your worldly glory and stuff. That's what you're trying to do. Fame and stuff that don't mean nothing. It's only lasts for a little time. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 13. "Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way."
So basically saying, not to judge anybody no more. Because a lot of times you're dealing with certain things. Like, for instance, I'll give you a prime example. I see brothers doing certain things that they shouldn't be doing, but I can't lift my tongue to say something to them because I'm still dealing with it. You understand? So that would make me a hypocrite in things, and I haven't pulled out the plaque out of my own eye yet. I haven't cleansed myself from that yet. I haven't overcome that just yet. So I can't lift my lips to say something to them, So that's what it's talking about, not to judge one another, but also judge it. You can't condemn somebody. When you judge somebody, you're condemning them, either to life or to death, or whatever the case may be. So you can't, there's a way of judging righteously. But as far as trying to, take matters into your own hands and things like that, And also, like it says, you're putting not to put a stumbling block. The stumbling block that a lot of brothers and sisters out here are doing, they're putting stumbling blocks in front of brothers and sisters because of how they feel or man-made doctrines. And that's the problem, because you're causing people to die and things left and right. There's warnings all through the scriptures about doing that. I've tagged on some of those lessons before with lying preachers, deacons, bishops, elders, so forth and so on. Okay? But let's go ahead and get the next scripture. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 36.
Matthew chapter 12 and verse 36. And it says, But I say unto you that every idle word that man shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment.
And read 37.
37. For by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy word thou shalt be condemned.
See, so every idle word, you better be careful. Once again, it's giving a warning. You better be careful what you're out here saying to these people, or whoever in the world, or even in your prayers and stuff. You be asking for certain things in your prayers, and then all of a sudden the Most High gives it to you. Then now you don't even know how to act. Like, oh, well, wait a second. I mean, you got to be careful what you're saying out here. Okay, you got to tread lightly. You're walking on eggshells, literally, thin ice. You have to be careful. What you're saying is either going to condemn you or it's going to justify you. And I'd rather be justified than condemning myself, because there's situations in the scriptures where individuals condemn themselves out of their own lips. And as a matter of fact, you know what? Let's get it real quick. I'll give you one example real quick. Let's go to 2 Samuel chapter 12. And then we'll get back in on this. But I just have to give a example real quick.
Okay.
And start at verse 1. I'll let you know when it's
2 Samuel chapter 12, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High sent Nathan unto David, and he came unto him and said unto him, There are two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him, and with his children, and it did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. There came a traveler unto the rich man, and he spared to take of his own flock, and of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that was coming to him, but took the poor man's lamb, and dressed it for the man that was come to him. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said unto Nathan, As the Most High liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die.
Now, so basically, Nathan, the prophet, is telling David a parable here, but obviously it's resulting to a certain man. Some rich man stole. He had plenty of flocks, but came and stole the poor man's one only ewe lamb that he raised up as like if it was a person almost. It could have been sacrificed. It wasn't going to be eaten. It was just there. It was like a pet almost, And that man came and stole it. Mind you, he was rich. And he came and took that and gave it to the wayfarer man. Basically, obviously killed it or did whatever. So this man stole from him and sold. Okay, that's all against the law. So what David said here, he said, and David anger was greatly kindled against the man and said to Nathan, As the Most High liveth, the man that has done this thing shall surely die. We continue.
Verse 6. And he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity.
So he's talking about the law here. Okay, David went to the law. But not realizing something. Let's see what the prophet says.
Verse 7. And Nathan says to David, Thou art the man.
Thou art the man, David. You are the rich man that stole from the poor man. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Most High, the power of Israel. I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul. And I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives into thy bosom.
I gave you thy master's house, Saul's, and I gave you Saul's wives unto you. These are all the blessings. This is how much the Most High loved David. Go ahead.
And gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah.
And the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom of Israel. Go ahead.
And if that had been too little, I would more have given unto thee such and such things.
Look at that. The Most High would have if he wanted more women, he would have gave it to him. If he wanted more wives, the Most High would have gave him anything he wanted. anything, which goes into Psalms. I forgot what chapter and verse. I got to look it up, but it talks about obeying the Most High's word and doing his and keeping Torah. He will give you anything your heart desires, as long as it doesn't contradict the Torah, of course. You know, so he's letting you know right here. I would have gave you more and more, but continue, Elder.
Verse 9. Wherefore hast thou despised the commandment of the Most High to do evil in his sight? Thou hast killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and hast taken his wife to be thy wife, and hast slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon.
See? So there's his sin. I mean, it's many, because he coveted another man's wife despite that he was a Gentile. He created mischief in his mind to murder this man, and he got the man murdered. So he did adultery, coveted, theft, murder. All these things are doomed to death. But the reason why David didn't get put to death is because he had no witnesses. That's something a lot of people don't know. There was no witnesses. Like it says, let every matter, 2 or more witnesses, let everything be established. So Dave, our brother David, looked, you know, he was blessed out for that one. But continue, Elder.
In the same story?
Yep.
Okay. Verse 10. Now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me, and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife.
Oh, not to mention too, he took he broke the other law. He took a Canaanite. These are Hittites. Hittites are Canaanites. You're not supposed to marry them. Deuteronomy 7 verse 1 through 5, I believe. You're not supposed to marry them. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 11. Thus said the Most High, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house, and I will take thy wives before thine eyes, and give them away unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of this son.
Continue.
Verse 12. For thou didst secretly, well, I would do this thing before all Israel and before the sun.
Everything done in darkness shall come to light. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And David said unto Nathan, I have sinned against the Most High. And Nathan said unto David, the Most High hath put away thy sin. Thou shalt not die. Howbeit, because by this deed thou hast given great occasion to the enemies of the Most High to blaspheme, the children also that is born of thee shall surely die.
So we'll stop right there on that one. Excuse me. So I just wanted to prove a point here that all these different things. This goes back to Matthew 12 and 36, where it says that you will definitely, you could condemn yourself. And out of David's own mouth, he condemned himself. Okay, so I was just giving an example and then just showing the reason why, because of what he did. Okay, but obviously, King Dawid, he still was living, and he's still a blessed man. And that's the other thing that made him blessed, because still he didn't turn back to that sin and did it again. See that? So that's a key point there. All right, but let's jump to James chapter 3 and verse 1 through 18. No, the whole chapter.
Okay. James chapter 3 and verse 1. My brother, be not many masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. For in many things we offend all. And if any man offend not in word, the same is a perfect man, and able to also to bridle the whole body.
So basically saying, not to offend. So we need to watch what we're saying out here when you're dealing with, the people and stuff, because you guys got guys out here on street corners saying the most dangest thing out here and causing a lot of people to move around and leave the truth and things like that. Also with these doctrines, people asking questions and you can't defend it when they're reading the Torah and stuff and they're bringing laws. That doesn't link up. That doesn't make sense. It has to move like a musical note. It has to play a right tune. Okay, but continue, Elder.
Verse 3. Behold, we put bits in the horses' mouths, that they may obey us, and we turn about their whole body.
So we put things that, the things that steer the horses and things. It's the same thing with the people. They're trusting what you're finna do, how you're gonna lead them. But a lot of y'all aren't leading them correctly because you don't know how to teach. You don't even have the right proper tools or the right understanding according to the Torah to say anything on Christ's behalf. So you're making him look bad. And you're going to have to answer for that. And this is what we're trying to tell people and give them warning about. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 4. Behold, the ships, which though they be so great, and are driven of fierce winds, yet are they turned about with a very small helm, whither the governor listeth.
See? So a huge ship, them sailing ships, them cargo ships, back in the day. Massive things, which is the people. It's representing the people. It takes one little thing, one little rudder to turn all that, and it takes one man to just turn that. You're being responsible for everything that you say and that you do according to the word. If you are not doing that, you're in a lot of trouble. You're causing curses and hell, leading people into hell. And then the people, they're gullible enough to follow what you say because they're not reading for themselves. This is why I put these videos out and keep telling the people, read for yourself. Forget what I'm saying. Forget what anybody else said. You got the comforter right here. Read it. Read it. Read it. That's all you need to do. Once you do it, you'll see a lot of different things. And you can see all the bull crap that comes out of people's mouths. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 5. Even so the tongue is a little member, and boasts great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell.
See? So, that tongue of ours, it can do marvelous things, and it can do wickedly things. So, you want to do the righteous things and tell the truth. Teach the truth. Don't add in, don't take away. But go ahead, Ellen.
Verse 7. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and hath been tamed of mankind. But the tongue can no man tame. It is an unruly evil, full of deadly poison.
So the Most High is basically what it's saying right here. You need to tame your tongue. Okay? Stop being toxic, spewing out venom and poisonous stuff and vomiting things on the people and things it's not true. Stop that. This is where whole humble and meekness comes. If you knew the Torah thoroughly, you will understand it changed you and makes you humble and meekness 100%. Well, I shouldn't say 100%, but it depends on the individual, how much of they mastered it. Okay? So, you really need to learn how to tame that tongue of yours and speak the truth. Stop speaking lies and adding things. But go ahead.
Verse 9. Therewith bless we the Most High, even the Father, and therewith we curse men, which are made after the similitude of the Most High. Out of the same mouth proceeded blessing and cursing. My brethren, these things ought not so to be. Doth the fountain send forth the same place sweet water and bitter? Can the fig tree, my brethren, bear olive berries? Either a wine, figs, or can no fountain both yield salt water and fresh?
So it's like, you can't have both. Being lukewarm, you need to be hot, cold, or, either you're going to be right or you're going to be wrong. You're going to speak the truth or, you deal righteously or wickedly. Which one are you going to choose? You can't deal with both. You can't be both at the same time. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 13. Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge among you? Let him show out of a good conversation his work with meekness of wisdom.
With meekness of wisdom and knowledge. Like we were saying, knowledge and wisdom, those are two different gifts of the Holy Spirit, of the Ruach HaKodesh. So you need to really understand or pray on these things to get these type of gifts and things, okay? Before you get out here and just start teaching, trying to put the word out and not knowing what you're saying and dealing with, creating your own interpretations and things. That's what you're dealing with, okay? That's why I link everything that I teach from is right out the book. Straight out the book. I only speak in between just to give examples and then go ahead, and go with the next verse because I understand which scripture is what or what it says because I've read it in the Hebrew and I have that I understand thoroughly where it goes back to the Torah and stuff and how I can link each one back. Okay, that takes time. You know, some may be faster than others. I'm not saying that it's gonna come to you just like that. It can. You know, whatever the Most High does, that's how He does. Okay, but continue. Elder.
Verse 14. But if you have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not, and lie not against the truth.
And lie not against the truth. Once again, if you're adding stuff and taking away from here, you're lying against the truth. Okay? So, people, you got to wake up from that stuff. You really need to read for yourself. But go ahead.
Verse 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish.
So, it's telling you, it's not come from the Most High. It came from that individual dealing with all this other crap that's in the world and stuff. It didn't come from above. And you could, well, I can't say everybody can, but they didn't discern what's the truth, what's real, what's fake, because you're not reading for yourself. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
In verse 16, for where envying and strife is, there is confusion in every evil work. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy.
Without partiality and without hypocrisy. So it's letting you know that's the real wisdom right there. This is what we're saying about, listen, when you create a doctrine and you can't back it up with the Torah, but you're using prophets through the Tanakh to back up your doctrine that you created, you made a grave mistake. You did the same thing that Satan tried to do against Christ by tempting him. He kept saying, every time that Christ, he tempted him, he said, if thou be the Son of God, turn these stone into bread. And Christ said, as it is written, bread alone you should not only live by, but by every word that coming out the Most High's mouth. Okay? So he went back to the law. Second one, he tried to say, jump off the cliff, for as it is written. Psalms 91. It says that if you dash your foot against a stone and fall off a cliff or whatever, your angels take charge and they'll carry you up. Christ, and he was speaking the truth. But he went to a prophet. And the prophet, in that sense, is David, because it's his songs that he written out. So he was telling the truth, but Christ went above that. He went back to the Torah. He says, as it is written again, thou shalt not tempt the Most High thy God. So he taught you how to get understanding throughout the scriptures. You need to know the Torah. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to fantasize and come up with once again, with your emotions and what you think. That's worldly thinking. That's not dealing with the actual word itself, which the word came from above.
Correct.
Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
In verse 18, and the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
There you go. So when you deal with Gentiles out here, deal in peaceable manner. You can make peace with them and stuff. Did I tell you to trust them? No, I didn't say trust, but you got to have discernment when you're dealing with, individuals out here. Heck, even our own people. Okay, but come in a peaceful manner. You don't have to be all, you ain't got to do all that. Okay? You can win souls just with a smile. Just, hey, take the time out. Be laid back. Sure. The Most High, he'll let you know when it's time to turn it up and stuff. And, you don't have to be turned up all the time and stuff. Right. You don't have to sound aggressive.
Right.
So, once again, don't scare away the fish. You're supposed to be a fisher of men. And here it is, you scare away the fish. Like, dude, shut up. I'm trying to get some fish over here. Yo, you talk too loud, But anyways.
May I add something to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Elder.
And Shaul even said, I have become all things to all men, that I might save some. Not that he was that, but he became as that so that he would pull something from the fire.
There you go. See? That's right. This is what we have to do. I mean, you got to deal with the levels. You got to balance yourself. You got to understand where people are coming from when you're out there dealing with these individuals, because you don't know what they've been through, what they're going through, and things like that. So you may be high up here and they may be down here, but you got to come down here to meet them. so that they can understand you. You can understand them. You can speak their language. So that's how you help. You can't always. Hey, even make yourself a little lower than them. If they feel like they're dealing with pride and stuff, and their nose is all up in there. Okay, well, be the humble one. Stoop yourself down and show that you do that. Because when they stoop themselves down, they got to bring their nose down to you and things. So these are the things you need to understand. You have to feel it out with people, and that's a gift from the Ruach HaKodesh, which we'll get into later. But let's get the next scriptures. Hebrews chapter 3, verse 1 through 3. Or, 13, 1 through 3, excuse me. Okay.
Hebrews chapter 3.
13, I'm sorry.
Hebrews chapter 13, verse 1. Yet brotherly love continue. Let brotherly love continue. Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained messengers unaware. Remember them that are in bonds as bonds with them, and them which suffer adversity as being yourself also in the body.
So, like I said, let brotherly love continue. That's scriptures. That's Leviticus 19, verse 17 through 19, I believe, where it says you should not have any grudges against your own brothers in your heart, and you should love your brothers as yourself. That's what Christ was telling you, the second greatest commandment. This is what we need to do. Let that continue. And be not forgetful for when you entertain strangers, for some of them could have been angels. So some of them Gentiles may be angels undercover. And you cussed them out and things and offended them. And you have scriptures that say, yo, you better not offend none of my people or my messengers or anything that comes to you. That's the Most High, what the Most High says. So you just offended something that you didn't have any understanding of or didn't even know because you're not conscious about what's around you or who it could be in things. You're just dealing, this is how I'm going to be. Nah. You can't deal like that with the people out here. You're going to turn them away. And then also, once again, you might have offended an angel, not knowingly. And that's a mark against you real bad. And also it says bind, meaning, people who could be in bind up in here, they can be mentally dead. They're living in a mentally dead grave and stuff. So you have to act. You have to be like that in order to pull them out. Let's crawl up out the grave together. Let's start waking up slowly together. It says who suffer adversity as well as being yourselves also in the body. So if they're dealing with something or they're adverse with something, then you need to be on that same level with them to help them so they can see you just want a soul, you want a brother, you want a friend back to the Most High. Okay? This is how you're supposed to deal with the people out here when it comes to the teaching. A lot of people can't grasp that yet because they're not reading. They're not practicing. Yeah. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know this. But anyways, let's jump to let's see what that let's back that up once when we're talking about speaking against the Most High's servants and things like that unaware of.
Okay.
Let's jump to give an example. Numbers chapter 12, verse 1 through 16.
Numbers chapter 12, verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman.
So, right here. So, obviously the Most High allows you to marry Gentiles on a certain occasion, depending on what this is. And I've already proved that in the laws and stuff. The one Gentiles he never wanted you to deal with was Canaanites. Okay? Anybody, those 7 nations from Canaan, that's Deuteronomy 7, 1 through 5. Okay? I'm not telling anybody to go out there and go marry Gentiles and things like that. But I'm just saying there is laws in there that excuse that if you do. So right here is shown and prove that Miriam and Aaron is speaking against the Most High servant, which is Moshe, their own brother, not knowing what's the consequences for this. This is going back to Hebrews 13 and 1 through 3 about entertaining strangers and speaking against angels and stuff that you don't know. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 2. And they said, hath the Most High indeed spoken only by Moshe? Hath he not spoken also by us? And the Most High heard it.
See, and Miriam was a prophetess. Okay, so these are issues going on here. It's like, yo, why you doing this? Why you do that? The Most High spoke with us too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what makes you better than us? That's the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Stay in your lane. Okay, go ahead, Elder.
Verse 3. Now the man Moshe was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And the Most High spake suddenly unto Moshe and unto Aaron and unto Miriam, Come out, ye three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And the Most High came down in the pillar of a cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, the Most High, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so. He is a faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth.
So he's letting you know, prophets, I'll speak to them in a dream and in a vision.
Mm-hmm.
But Moshe, I will speak face to face,
Mm-hmm.
mouth to mouth with him.
Mm-hmm.
That's how important he is and how special he is and how righteous he is and how above he is of you. Okay? That's why I said stop fighting for positions that's not yours, that has not been given to you. And we have those issues going on in Israel today. The camps creating soldiers and deacons and bishops and generals and captains and all this crap. Where's the king that set you guys up to do this? Where's the king that was prophesied by a prophet today who came and got a high priest of the sons of Aaron and anointed his head and told all Israel, this is the king of Israel, thus saith the Most High? Where did it happen? Where is this king that said, you should be the captain, you should be the general, you should be a soldier, you should be a porter, you should... Where is it? When did that happen? It never did. So why are you guys setting that up and causing more division amongst our people? See? You people need to read the book. You need to know the Torah. But anyways, let's continue, Elder.
Verse 8, with him I will speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of the Most High shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe?
So weren't you not, listen, all this stuff and how righteous this man is, you wasn't scared or afraid to mind your tongue of what you're going to say to my servant? Did you not know how important he was? So you're gonna have the audacity to lip up your mouth and talk crap about my servant who's above you. Watch this. Go ahead.
And the anger of the Most High was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous.
She said what?
Became leprous.
Miriam became leprous.
White as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. And Aaron said unto Moshe, Alas, my Lord, my King, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned.
So here's a mediator between the Most High and Miriam. Aaron was the mediator right there, besides Moshe. So to my Old Testament brothers, you still need a mediator to talk to the Most High, regardless. Okay? And just like Christ, just like he said, I talked to Moses mouth to mouth, Christ talked to the disciples mouth to mouth and not in parables. That's why the disciples said, why do you talk to us plainly, but you talk to them in parables? See? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 12. Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moshe cried unto the Most High, saying,
Wait. Read that again, Elder.
Verse 12. Aaron said, Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb.
You know how ugly she was looking? Do you know what he did to her? Just imagine half of her flesh was looking like, like she was not even, she hasn't even was formed coming out the mother's womb yet. That's how bad the leprosy was. And even Moshe seen this. Go ahead.
And Moshe cried unto the Most High, saying, Heal her now, Oh, power, I beseech thee.
Moses, man, when he saw that, he said, please
Heal her now.
heal her now.
No.
Please heal her now. It was that bad. Okay? It wasn't just somebody's skin turning white and that's it, patches of whiteness and things like that. No, she was like deformed. Okay? That's what he was saying. That when he saw that, he was like, no, heal her now. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. But go ahead, Elder.
And the Most High said unto Moshe, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days. And after that, let her be received again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days. And the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
And look at that too, just brotherly love and nation love. They didn't move until Miriam was able to come back in. Mm-hmm. And then the whole nation of Israel moved and pitched tent. Mm-hmm. Where's that love that we have today like that? Oh, I forgot. Everybody ain't on the same page because you guys have created all the dang doctrines and stuff, and everybody's all confused and scattered all over the place. But I blame you teachers, so-called teachers, for that. But let's jump to Numbers chapter 16 and verse 1 through, let me say, is that 50? Let me just make sure. Yeah, the whole chapter again. But basically, so I'm just showing to prove, look what happens when you're not minding taming your tongue out there and stuff. Okay? Mm-hmm. And it could be worse than that. You might get killed. If that be the Most High's will. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Numbers chapter 16, verse 1. Now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the son of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they went, and they rode up before Moshe with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation of the men of renown.
Hold it right here. The reason why I'm going here, I gave you one example for individuals speaking against Moshe. And this is after the fact. They saw what happened. Mm-hmm. But look what happened. Look how sin got into this. Go ahead.
And they gathered themselves together against Moshe and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Most High is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Most High.
You see, that it had nothing to do with them having all this burden on them. It had nothing to do with it. They wasn't trying to help them take it off so they could, ease up and stuff. They were doing it because, just like today, somebody wants to be power controller, ego. They want to be in charge. I want to be the head person in charge and things.
Right.
That's what that was.
Right.
If you actually read in between the line of what that means. That's the spirit they were dealing with. They were causing they were envying their brothers. Okay? Because they're getting all the glory. That's what it was. Righteously. But today, you don't do it righteously like that. You're doing it for just the fame of the people. Glory to the people, not of the Most High. But go ahead, Elder.
And when Moshe heard it, verse 4, he fell upon his face, and he spake unto Korah, and unto all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Most High will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even him he hath chosen will he cause to come near to him. This do, take your censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Most High tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Most High does choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much power upon you, ye sons of Levi. And Moshe said unto Korah, Hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the Most High of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Most High, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them?
See, they already had a job that they had to do, was deal with the tabernacle. But no, they wanted more than that. They wanted to be in the holy of holy places in the tabernacle and stuff. Like I said, you don't want to stay in your own lane. It's never enough for you. That's the problem. And a lot of y'all have that bad in Israel today. The Most High give you something, he'll give you an inch, you want a whole mile. You're not what's the word I'm looking for? You're not satisfied, but you're not content. Is it content? Yeah, content. Yeah, satisfied for what you have.
For what you have, sure.
That's the problem. And this is where it goes into coveting your brother's stuff. They're coveting here.
Love the law broken.
Well, go ahead, Elder.
Verse 10. He had brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee, and ye seek ye the priesthood also?
See? You want to take the priesthood also, when it was already told that the sons of Aaron only in their generation are the priests. But no, me having to put covers and having to bear the tabernacle and stuff, I don't want to do that. I want to do what you do. I want to be the priest. I want to mediate and stuff through everybody. All this stuff is done in Israel today during the camps and other individuals that's out there and stuff. Till this day, you guys still do these things. And you guys don't notice because you don't read. So you're so blind, deaf, and dumb to your own wickedness and living in that reprobated mind that you can't even see that the things you're doing, you're going against the Most High. Not only the power, but your master, which is who? The king. HaMashiach. You trying to take his position. You guys is trying to be the Mashiach and stuff. You trying to be king. Playing these little roles and these man-made titles out here and things now. That's what you guys do. You're doing this all to get the favor of the people because you fear the people and not the Most High. And the people, you're being blind at the dumb to every little thing that they say and do because it sounds good. It's a big congregation. We bringing in money and stuff. These are all worldly things. And if you knew, they're still playing you like when you were back in Christianity. But you can't realize that because the Most High obviously probably has you running around in your mind 40 years still in the desert and you can't see nothing. You looking for the oasis. But you laid up your soul salvation in the man's hands who you call deacon, elder, bishop, whatever, preacher, pastor, all those things. All these warners are in the scriptures. But you'll never notice because they won't teach you this. Okay? But go ahead, elder.
Verse 11. For which cause both thou and thy company are gathered together against the Most High. And what is Aaron that ye murmur against him? Oh boy. Verse 12. And Moshe sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, We will not come up. Verse 13. It is a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that floweth with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us?
Look at that. See? This is going through their mind. They assuming. Assumptions. You assuming. Because you want to be something that you're not. You wasn't called to be. Coveting. I gotta be you. I gotta be better than you. Man, you ain't satisfied with self. You ain't satisfied with the Most High bless you with. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 14. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into the land that floweth with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards, Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. And Moshe was very wroth and said unto the Most High, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them.
So even the Most High knows he saw this already. Moses he's being justified in what he's saying through his tongue because he's speaking the truth. And watch what the Most High is going to do. And see, it's okay to be angry. Just don't let the sun go down in your anger. Okay? But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 16, and Moshe said unto Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Most High, thou and they and Aaron, tomorrow. And take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Most High every man his censer, 250 censers, thou also and Aaron, each of you, his censer.
And the Korah, they weren't even supposed to deal with the censers. That's the priesthood job. So basically, they kind of got played here. Well, now they didn't get played, but the fact of the matter is, they weren't supposed to do that. And as according to the law, that specific incense that's in there, those compounds, are not to be made up only by the priest, not no other Israelite or even no other Levite that's not underneath the generation of Aaron. See? They're breaking laws left and right here. But go ahead.
Verse 18. And they took every man his censer and put fire in them and laid incense thereon and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moshe and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the glory of the Most High appeared unto all the congregation. Verse 20. And the Most High spake unto Moshe and to Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. And they fell upon their faces and said, O Father, the power of the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin, and wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? And the Most High spake unto Moshe, saying, speaking to the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram.
So even with him saying that, he already knew the hearts of all the individuals anyway. That's why he told Moshe and Aaron, get away from them real quick. Hold on, I'm finna do something. And they saw my glory too? Oh, you saw something you shouldn't have been seeing. So obviously you see the Most High, or it could have been, well, it says the glory of him. But last time I checked, you looking on to the Father, that means you're dead. Okay, but go ahead, Elder.
Verse 25, and Moshe rose up and went unto Dathan and Aaron, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So they got up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan and Abiram on every side, and Dathan and Abiram came out and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives and their sons and their little children. And Moshe said, hereby ye shall know that the Most High hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. Verse 29, if these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Most High has not sent me. But if the Most High make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that pertaineth unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Most High.
So he prophesied of what is going to happen to them. Go ahead.
And also, those people got away from them because they were scared. They backed up and left them by themselves. Verse 31, and it came to pass as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder and was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses and all the men that pertaineth unto the Korah and all their goods. They and all that appertain to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. Verse 34. And all Israel that were around about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from the Most High and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. And the Most High speaking to Moshe, saying, speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning and scatter them, and scatter the fire yonder, for they are hollowed. And the censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Most High. Therefore they are hollow, and they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. Verse 39. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censer wherewith that they that were burnt had offered, and they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar. Verse 40. To be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger which is not of the seed of Aaron come near to the offer incense before the Most High, that he be not as Korah, and as his company, as the Most High said to him by the hand of Moshe.
So, like it says, this is the law here. Nobody can bring the censers in, only from the Aaron's sons, the priesthood. But go ahead, Elder.
Verse 41. But on the morrow all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moshe and against Aaron, saying, ye have killed the people of the Most High.
They said Moses and Aaron have killed the people. Not the Most High killed them, but they did. But go ahead.
And it came to pass, when the congregation was gathered against Moshe and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, a cloud covered it, and the glory of the Most High appeared. And Moshe and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Most High spake to Moshe, saying, get up from among this congregation, that I might consume them, as in the moment that they fell upon their faces. And Moshe said unto Aaron, take the censer and put the fire therein from off the altar, and put on the incense, and go quickly into the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is wrath gone out from the Most High, and the plague is begun. And Aaron took as Moshe commanded, and ran into the midst of the congregation. Behold, the plague was begun among the people. And he put on incense and made an atonement for the people. And he stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. Now, they that died in the plague were 14,700, beside them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moshe unto the door of the tabernacle congregation, and the plague was stayed.
So, real quick, because we got to end this. So, show and prove to y'all why you need to watch what you're saying out here when you're teaching, or before you even think about going out here teaching anybody anything, how quick you can be consumed in things by the Most High. Okay? So you can't be ignorant out here what you're doing to things. This is why I'm giving you all the warnings, examples of what you're trying to do out here, and trying to be like somebody else that you ain't even called to be. You need to watch what you're saying. So I'm giving you these warnings right now, showing you these warnings to be careful. But anywho, we're going to end it.
Don't understand this also, that as the brother is giving this is not coming from him. This is coming from the Most High's word. Just like when the Most High told Moshe, get back. I'm about to take all these people out. And my man Aaron ran out, the priest Aaron ran out and did the atonement for them so they wouldn't be all taken out. They were all accountable for themselves. If you look at the verses he gave in Romans, every man is accountable for himself. So therefore, that which is done to them was brought on by themselves. That which is done to us is brought up on ourselves.
That's right.
We have it right here.
Yep, the water elder for that told her that's as plain as it is to get. Hey, we trying to warn you and stuff, but anywho. But I know this camera about to go dead. So anyway, it's been an hour and things. So like I said, I'll try to keep these an hour long. So it was good seeing y'all again, Israel. And we pray and hope that you guys got some more understanding, some knowledge, some wisdom, and some clarity, and this helps you more in your walk and things like I usually say. So we're back at it. So continue to see these videos, these lessons coming out, and share them out there to everybody. Okay. So like we said, this is, my face is out here, our face is out here. Anything can happen because, people don't want the truth. Something can happen to us. We get put to death for not righteously, but they'll believe in their mind they'll put us to death unrighteously and stuff. So, things like that. All these things can happen to us, So we're sticking our necks out here to help you guys so you get this understanding, because we know the great reward afterwards for doing this. Okay? So much love to y'all. Yesharala. I'm Brother Ezekiel.
Brother Chris.
And we saying shalom.
Shalom.